After record heat and a devastating drought, the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates America's corn producers will turn out 13% less corn than a year ago. The downgrade in production is already driving up the price of corn on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, where corn is one of its top trading commodities. But even with the worst drought in a half-century, the U.S. is on track to have its 8th best crop on record. So it isn't just supply that's the problem, it's also demand.
Global demand's going up, and the problem is that the supplies just are simply not keeping up. You've got a growing population, you've got a growing middle class in some of the developing countries, so that is going to put more and more pressure.
Rising corn prices mean scarcity in countries that rely on food imports, countries like Afghanistan and Mexico. If food stores are not replenished, there are fears of rioting, like during the global food crisis of 2007 and 2008 that hit many Middle East and North African nations.
The people go to the street.
Which is why Shenggen Fan, a food policy research expert, is backing the call from the United Nations, 4 U.S. governors, and more than 150 members of Congress for the U.S. to suspend its ethanol mandate. That's its policy, which mandates that American gasoline for cars contain 10% ethanol distilled from corn.
Corn is still used for biofuel production, and that's people's food. So your cars, or the cars here in the U.S., are competing with poor people's food, and this must be stopped.
The ethanol mandate diverts 40% of America's depleted corn harvest to ethanol. President Obama could waive the mandate, but the decision is politically risky in an election year, especially in battleground corn and ethanol producing states like Iowa. The ethanol industry also argues the mandates created jobs and allows the U.S. to be less reliant on imported fossil fuels. It may be one reason oil companies are also pushing for the ethanol mandate to be scrapped.
There are people out there that want to undercut the ethanol industry because of the potential impact to their business, and I would say that the oil companies are one of those players.
But diverting corn production away from ethanol means more gasoline is burned, CO2 emissions increase, along with the chance of more severe droughts from climate change. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Washington.